I'm going to make two kinds of naan bread, regular and gluten-free. I was going to try to get this into a short video, but I know this is going to be a little longer, so this will take place of a short video. I need half of a cup of warm water. The temperature should be right around 100 to 110 degrees. I put some cold tap water in the bowl, put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and I've let it sit for about 2 minutes, and it is about 105 degrees, so perfect. 2 teaspoons of rapid dry yeast. I buy it in the jar, but you could also purchase the little packs. The small packages of yeast have 2 1/4 teaspoons. I just need 2 teaspoons. 1 teaspoon of sugar, and then I'm just going to stir this and set this aside. It's going to sit for about 5 minutes. It'll be bubbly. It'll be a little lumpy on top. It's fine. I just have to get it off my spoon here. And this is what it should look like after about 5 minutes. In a large mixing bowl, I'm going to put 1 egg, 1/4 cup of plain yogurt. I have just plain Greek yogurt. Between 2 and 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to start with 2 cups. If I need more, I'll add more later. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Stir until smooth. I'm just going to use a spoon. And then I'm going to add the yeast mixture, which is overflowing quite a bit. All right, mix that until it's smooth. Use your muscles. I'm going to add a little bit more flour, about 1/4 cup. This is mostly mixed up. There's still some flour that is not mixed in. I am going to put a little flour on my silicone mat. You can just use a clean counter, just any kind of working surface. I like the silicone mats because it does not stick. Now I'm going to knead the dough a little bit. If you've never done it, it's kind of fun actually. Just kind of gather up all the dough into a ball as much as you can. Sometimes there's some crumbs. Just kind of smash the dough over the top and hope it sticks. Great. So what you want to do is get it in kind of a ball like that and then push out and then gather it and pull it towards you and push out. Probably doesn't make sense. Turn the dough, pick it up, fold it and push out, pick it up, pull it towards you, push out, and just keep doing that. And then you can keep turning the dough, like turning it like that. Sometimes it's just easier if I show you, right? You want it to look like that. I need to grease the bowl. I'm just going to use some canola spray. I'm going to put the dough in. I'm going to put it in upside down, and then I'm going to turn it. So it's kind of a little bit of oil on both sides. I'm just going to take a tea towel or a dish towel, a clean dish towel, and just drape it over it. And you can let this sit on a table or the counter until it doubles in size. If you have an oven light, which I know some people don't replace theirs when they go out, if you happen to have an oven light, you can turn your oven light on. Do not turn your oven on, just the oven light, and that will give it enough heat to rise really, really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn my oven light on and then set this right underneath it on the very top shelf, way in the back. Let the light shine on it for 1 hour. It'll be just enough heat to let it rise. Another warm spot to rise your dough is your dishwasher. If you happen to have just ran your dishwasher, empty it, and you can put your dough in the bowl inside on top shelf if it fits on the top shelf, cover it, and then shut the door. Don't run your dishwasher. Do not run your dishwasher. Just let it sit in there and it'll be a nice warm spot. If you want to keep your door open a crack, that's fine too. This is what it looks like after 1 hour. That's just another idea for a warm spot to rise the dough. I've cleaned my silicone mat. I'm going to add some flour to it, spread it around, and then put my dough on the floured surface. I'm going to flip this over just to get some flour on both sides. I need to divide this into 8 equal parts. Just like that. I'm going to work with one at a time. Put one there, and then the rest are just going to go here. I'm going to use my towel that I used to cover the dough. I'm going to cover it like that so they don't dry out. Make sure you have a floured surface. And I have a rolling pin that I'm going to coat with flour and then just roll it out. Mine are never a perfect circle. They're always kind of wonky shaped, but that's okay. Want them about like that. I'm going to keep the ones that are rolled out on a plate and then under the towel over there. There. And then I'll work on the next one. I'm going to continue to do this until all of these are rolled out, and I'll be right back. I have all of the naan bread flattened out. I'm going to cook these on my electric griddle at 275 degrees. If you were cooking these on the stovetop, I would use a large skillet and cook over medium heat. I'm going to drizzle some canola oil. You could use vegetable or olive oil if you'd like. Just gonna brush that on. Get that nice and hot, about 90 seconds. I'm going to cook just a few at a time and about 2 to 3 minutes per side. They do puff up slightly. And then cook another 2 to 3 minutes. While this is finishing up, I melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic to that. This is optional. Just kind of brush this over the top of them. They're good with it or without. While that finishes up, I'm just going to do, you just brush the garlic butter on one side. These are good on their own. You can use them for dipping in different foods. We like to use these for pizza crust, and they freeze really well. And we just take them out when we want a small pizza. Everybody can make their own. All right, I'm going to finish cooking up the rest of this. I'm going to brush a little bit more oil on. I like to do that in between the naan bread that I'm cooking. I'm going to cook up the rest of these and I'll be right back. Now for the gluten-free naan bread. I need 2 cups of gluten-free all-purpose flour. I'm just going to be using the Namaste brand. This is from Costco, but wherever you get it is fine. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half of a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of plain yogurt. I'm just going to use Greek yogurt. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. You could use canola or vegetable oil instead. Mix that together. All right, this is still really dry. It said you can add up to 1 cup of plain yogurt. You could always add water. I do have an extra 1/4 of a cup that I can add in. And if it's still dry, I'll add some water. This is still pretty dry. I'm going to start with 1/4 of a cup of water and see what that does. Looking better. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Three-fourths cup of water. That's what it was. I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes before I get it on a silicone mat. I just need a clean working surface. I'm going to use my silicone mat and sprinkle some gluten-free flour on it. I like to put a little extra flour on the side of my working surface. I know I'm going to use it anyway, and it's just handier if it's just right there. gonna put my dough on the mat. I ended up refrigerating this overnight. I got busy yesterday, so I just figured I would do it today. With clean hands, I'm going to kind of work this dough and this flour together so it's not so sticky. Kind of kneading it, but not, it's a little crumblier, so I want to be careful with it. I don't want it to get too dried out. I think that's good. The recipe says to divide this into 4 pieces. That might be a little too big, I'm not sure. See, this dough is a little softer than the other one. I'm just going to cover these while I work with this one. Kind of work in a little bit of flour and then flatten it out. Very soft. I forgot to flour my rolling pin. I think I need to work some more flour into this. Maybe I should just cut that piece off. We're gonna make this work. Some of this is okay. This is just a really big piece of naan bread. I may end up with 6 naan breads instead of 4. I'm going to say that one's good enough. I'm going to try to take this off the mat and put it on a plate. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for this one. I'm going to get a little bit more flour and work on my next one. And I'm just going to work with the scraps that I had from that one. I just don't want it too dry. That seems better. I think that's thin enough. Carefully take that. Oh yeah, that's better. Much better. Maybe I think I'm gonna redo this one. This one's really soft. That looks good. These are gonna be really big pieces. Okay, I'm gonna put this on a plate and then I'm going to work on the rest of these, and I think I will get about 6 of them. These are really big. I could probably get 8 smaller ones, but we'll see. Well, I did it. I finished rolling them out. Clearly there are more than 4. I don't actually know. I didn't count how many there are. I almost gave up, but that darn gluten-free flour is so expensive. I'm not going to waste it, so I'm going to finish. I'm going to cook these up, and I hope they're good. I'm going to cook these on my electric griddle at 275 degrees. If you were cooking these on the stovetop, I would use a large skillet and cook over medium heat. I'm going to drizzle some canola oil. Use what you have. Let it sit for about 90 seconds. This is starting to get hot. It feels like the texture of like pie crust. We'll see. I'm going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. Wish me luck. I'm going to flip them with Edith, in case you wondered what her name was. You know what? These look pretty good. I'm going to cook these another 2 to 3 minutes. You can add melted butter on top if you'd like, or some garlic butter. I'm not going to. All right, I am going to continue to cook the rest of these, and I'll figure out how many I actually have. These are just finishing up. I'm just going to cook them for about a minute on this other side. So I've been thinking if I would ever make these again. As messy as they were, and as much of a pain as they were, I made some notes that I need 3/4 to 1 cup extra flour when rolling these out because they were so sticky. It made 8 of them. I know I would not be making these every day, but if my gluten-free kiddo really liked them, I probably would make them again. Again, I wouldn't be making them every day. It would just be once in a while because I can freeze these and then just pull them out as needed. And then one day I would teach my kiddo how to make these themselves, and I don't have to. Let's check that side. Just a little bit longer. And then I'm just gonna sample a little piece and see how good they are. All right, this was made with regular all-purpose flour. This one I did not brush any garlic butter on, but these I did. This made 8 total. The gluten-free is a lot flatter. They're chewy. They're not as light and airy as these are. They're still really good, and I think they'll make a really good pizza crust. And that is how you make naan bread, regular and gluten-free. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Be sure to check out Sunday's video that has a recipe that goes along with this naan bread.